I know, it's always hard. Hi. Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good.
I'm so glad you came in and took the time to come see me.
Me too.
It's great. So, what would you like to talk about today?
I don't know. I don't know. I think last week I kind of felt like my brain was all foggy, and I still feel like that today. Like there's 20 things
So,
always going on through my head.
let's talk about foggy. What do you mean by that?
I'm not focusing. Like I just have so many things on my plate. I'm like, not. I don't know. Like, and then my brain gets like overwhelmed, and then I'm like bogged down, not productive, that kind of stuff.
So you're that is a continued feeling from last week. I remember you telling me you were foggy last week.
Yep.
But you do look a little happier this week. Last week you seemed kind of down.
I think I'm just like at the point where, okay, I'm not saying this is what I am, but this is like a comparison. So I used to work at the hospital and I would work overnights, and then I would stay up a little bit too much during the day instead of go to sleep right away. And then I was delusional. And then it's like you get to the point where it's like funny kind of, because you're like, why am I doing that? That's kind of how I feel right now. That's probably why I look so happy, because I'm just like kind of laughing at myself.
Yeah.
Like, this is stupid, but then I just laugh about it.
So, did you, we're going to go back to the list. How'd you do on that this week?
I mean, it was all right. It was not my best, but I tried.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. I know you had wanted to do that because
Yeah.
We saw some differences last week. Like you had 2 really good weeks where you did what you wanted to do, or we set that goal and you met it, and you did good. And then you had a week where you didn't do it, and it sounded like
that's when the brain fog started.
Yeah, that's when everything kind of came loose for you.
Yeah.
And then this week you look like you're doing a little better, and you're telling me you're doing a little better, right? But you're still or no?
I'm probably like the same. I'm just like,
okay.
It's like comical though, because I don't know.
But it's funny, and so, but you did start at least to get back on track this week. Well, that's good. I'm glad.
I tried. I mean, it was, like I said, not my best.
How did your baby shower go?
That was good. It was, so we could talk about that, I guess. So we don't have to if you have something else. It makes me laugh because I know, like last week we talked about being picky and choosy for my own sake and getting rest and that kind of stuff. And so when it came down to it, the day of doing things, I chose to do it all.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did, like looking back, but I'm also glad it's over. And that sounds horrible to say because, I mean, it was really fun though. So, like on Saturday, my son had swimming lessons, and then after that, we went and ran around and like, I needed to get groceries, and I had to pick up the cake for the shower and like different things, and I had to wrap presents and get, just everything in order. Did it all, and I cleaned my house too. I don't know. This is what I'm talking about. I choose to do it all. And then on Sunday, I woke up, I fell asleep really late on Saturday because I was up doing stuff, and then on Sunday I got up early, got myself and my son ready, got everything over, set up for the baby shower. I did have my mom helping me, which was nice, and we had the shower, and it lasted from like 11:30 till 3 in the afternoon, so it was pretty long. And then after that, we cleaned up, and then I went to our nephew's concert for about 2 hours. And then we went to a movie. I did it all. You did it all? Yes.
You went to the movie with Mom too?
And my son. Yep.
How did your son do?
He loved it.
Oh, he had a good time.
I mean, I'm sure he was exhausted, but he
stayed there with you, right there with you.
Everything he knew that we could do, he wanted to do. I want to go to the birthday, he called it the baby's birthday party, the baby shower. And then he knew that about the concert, and he wanted to do it, kind of like me. So
I see.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. It was hectic, and look back at pictures already. I'm like, that was really fun, and I'm glad I did it, but it was very chaotic.
So, but you're glad you did it.
I am. Yeah.
And if you could do it again,
I'd probably do the same thing.
Okay. Okay.
I might try and maybe would have gone to sleep a little earlier and not clean my house. one of the nights.
Okay.
But no, I'm glad.
Well, it sounds like it worked out for
But I
you.
think that's where like the list comes in, because I was trying to do it, but I was just choosing to do everything. So I tried to do the list. It worked a little bit, but it, like I said, was not my best.
So what do you think brought you to the point of doing everything? Is it because you said to yourself, I really just want to have fun and I want to do everything? Or was there some guilt there for not doing things?
So when reflecting back, I just started thinking about this like after that whole weekend. This is gonna probably sound really dumb, but it was almost like an adrenaline rush. Like, I want to do all this stuff. It's so much fun. And I knew that if I didn't do it, there would be, yes, regret for the people who I didn't, like, not going to support Nick, or regretting not, getting to do something fun with my mom. But it wasn't necessarily, I mean, a little bit was like, yeah, I would regret that they would think I didn't support them. But then when I really, like, started thinking about it, I'm like, for my own sake, I would regret it, because I know these are things I wanted to do. And so it was like, yeah, a little bit of regret, but it was almost an adrenaline rush. Like, this is really fun. I want to do it all. And then it was like regret in the sense of, like, if I don't do it for myself, I might regret it.
So not that you would feel guilty because somebody might be upset with you, or
Yeah. Well, more like myself. Like, I would
you'd be upset with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, because you wanted to do it, because you wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
So, well, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
I mean, to do that. It's just I've seen some. I hear you talking when we've talked in the past, and I hear you say, "Well, I would feel bad if I didn't go because
that is true.
Somebody would be mad at me, or somebody would think I didn't care about them."
That is true too.
And
yeah.
I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about that, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
I feel like that is a part of it, but I feel like it's letting myself down too, maybe. But I think, I don't know. I don't really know what to think. I do feel like maybe it would be letting other people down too. But I kind of feel like that balances out with also letting myself down.
Because you want to do all these fun things, and you're young, and
yeah,
and that's understandable.
Yeah.
That's good. And your son is up for the task. It sounds like so. So no, it sounds like you had a good time.
I did. It was, and I think the other part that when I think back on it, like the week before when we were talking, the build up to get to everything is what like drives me insane, because I like sit and I think about it all, and just everything leading up to have to get to where that's probably even more stressful. Like the build up and the anticipation of, does that make sense? Like,
yeah, let me see.
I'm anticipating all of these things. Am I going to pick and choose, or am I going to do them all? And if I'm going to do them all, how am I going to do it all? It's like the sitting there thinking it all through. That the leading up to it, and then once I get there, that's when I kind of feel like it's, like I was saying, adrenaline, like go, 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 and it's fun. And then I'm really glad that I did it all.
So let me see if I can summarize that.
Okay.
So essentially, you don't mind doing everything with regard to the activity itself. Like, you wanted to do the baby shower, and you wanted to go to the concert, and you wanted to go to a movie with mom, but it was preparing for all of those things and planning them that gets you overwhelmed.
And it's like anxiety. Like, I get anxiety thinking about it all.
Right.
Too.
But once it comes down to it, then you do okay.
I'm glad.
Yeah. I think I don't think that's unusual to stress out, or whatever you want to call it, about up and coming events. And especially when you're in charge of them, because it sounds like you were in charge of the baby shower, and then your mom's coming to visit you at your house. So I mean, you had a lot of stuff going on. I don't think it's unusual to stress out about it. I do think maybe you get a little overwhelmed with that, and that is certainly something we could address.
Yeah.
Which we are doing by, making a list, but you have to be consistent with it.
Yes.
And I think you know that.
I do, yeah.
So it's really just going to fall back on you as to whether you decide to do that or not.
Yeah.
And so, but I think I would like to see you do less of the, I heard you, this was a few sessions back, we talked about this when you, that you wanted to spend time with your husband,
Mm-hmm.
but that by the time the end of the day came, he's tired, you're tired, the
Mm-hmm.
baby's tired.
Yep.
And because you've been doing things for everybody.
Yeah.
Because you don't say no very often.
That's very true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and so I think what I'd like to see you do, if you want to talk about this, and is yes, you have a list of things to do. I get that, but maybe do you and maybe you already do this. So let's talk about that. Do you have any family time set aside?
Well, when you say family time, do you mean just like me and my husband and son, or like the whole, like, because I feel like I'm always with some family.
Family,
like,
right.
you know, so I don't know if you mean like me, my husband, and then like his parents or mine, or if you mean just exclusively.
Well, what do you think you need?
I don't know. I think I do. Well, and that's, I don't know, because I do like spending time just me and my husband and my son. Oh, and that's something I could bring up too in a minute. But like when I reflect back on the last weekend, it was like building my time with him and my son was built into the time the
Right.
event. Does that make sense?
Because
So,
you guys went to the concert together,
yeah,
right?
and then he came along with us to the movie, and then and the movie group grew. So initially it was going to be me and my mom. It ended up being me, my mom, my son, my husband, my brother, his fiance, and then my friend who I threw the baby shower. So it grew. The group grew, and so it's like, but even though she's my friend, like I consider her family. So
Right.
it's like, it was all family when you look at it that way, but it wasn't just me and my son and husband. But so this is another thing I wanted to bring up though, like going forward into this coming up weekend. I know I've told you over and over, like there's always something going on. And so this weekend is Mother's Day weekend, and we also have one of our friends that is getting married. We're going to go to another party it's a couple's shower, and that's on Saturday night. Well, then Sunday is Mother's Day. And then on the day during Saturday, my husband is helping his brother move a whole playground set from one house to another. See, we just get into like random stuff like that, whatever. Then we have swimming lessons still, but so like on Saturday, I'll go to swimming lessons with my son, and then probably go just do something with me and my son while my husband helps his brother. But then that night, then I'll get to spend time at the bridal couple shower it'll be just me and my husband. It'll almost be kind of like a date because it is a dinner type of thing, and we'll be with our friends. And then my son will be going to my mother-in-law's house.
Oh.
But where that gets tricky is, you may not know this about me, but like I get really, what I need for myself, when you ask me what do I need or what do I want, like my son is so important to me, and like he takes priority over, him and my husband take priority, over
Right.
At the end of the day, that's what is most important. So he'll be at my mother-in-law's house on Saturday while we're at the bridal party. But my mother-in-law, she like stepped in and she's like, well, is he going to have a sleepover? And I said, no. And she's like, well, why not? And because he usually, like, if we go and do a date or something and it's on a Saturday night, he'll have a sleepover and stay at grandma's house, and usually it's fine. But this weekend is Mother's Day. So I told her, I was like, no, it's Mother's Day. Like, I want to wake up at my house with my child and be there and enjoy him. Like,
right.
And that sounds maybe really silly and selfish, and different people celebrate Mother's Day different ways, but for me, I want to spend it with my child. Like I want to be at home with him and relax. And so to me that's really important. So I told her no. Like I'm like, he's not having a sleepover with you. And then it probably came across really harsh, but I have to be direct with her because she likes to kind of joke around and pick on me. And so then she's like, well, he's not going to want to leave and go home with you that night. And I was like, well, that's fine. She was talking about my son. She's like, he's going to want to have a sleepover with me at my house. He's already going to be here. I'm like, that's fine. I'll tell him no. And so I guess that kind of goes back to what you asked, like what's important to me, because I don't care if she wants him to sleep over. I want him to have a relationship with his grandma, and he does. They're very close.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's Mother's Day. He's coming home with me. He's my baby. Like that, and that might sound really harsh, but that's like fulfilling my own need of what I want. Like I want to be at home with my child, and so I'm doing that.
I think that's great.
Really
But I wonder why you think it sounds harsh.
Well, because it's like, to her, well, and this is the other thing. So then my mother-in-law is a lot like me, but she can be, so her and I are really direct with each other. So when I think back on her raising her kids,
Mm-hmm.
like, she was the number one. She was always there doing everything with and for them. And, like, I don't think they even had sleepovers at their grandma's and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so if I were to treat her kind of like the way she raised her kids, like, she would be way less involved. But I try and involve her, so that's why I'm like, I probably sound harsh because she's like, just leave Tatum here and he'll have a sleepover. And then when I say no, to me it might be harsh because I'm like, maybe it hurts her feelings, but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to hurt her feelings. And it's like, on that one day, to me, it's more important to put my own feelings first because he's my kid.
That's good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds
and that's why I'm like, it sounds kind of harsh.
Well, I think that it sounds like you set some really good boundaries with her.
I have to.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see that because in our talks so far, sometimes it sounds like setting those boundaries is hard for you.
With other people, it is, yeah.
But with her, you found a place where you can do that.
Well, with her, it's like gotten to the point I have to because I love her and like I want her to have a good relationship with my son and with my husband because that's her own son, and I don't want to come between them. But I have to be really direct and clear cut with her, and just because she really wants those two, my son and husband, all to herself too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's her kid and her grandchild. Of course, she wants them. So for her and I, we both are really direct because otherwise she would have them all the time, both of them.
And you have no husband and no child.
Right. So yeah.
Well,
and I've learned that from experience because I have gotten my feelings hurt doing that with her. So I kind of, as my son's gotten older, I'm just like, this is how it's going to be.
I'm the mom.
Yeah.
So, well, good. I think that's great. I think that that boundary that you're setting with your mother-in-law could actually be something that could work to your advantage in other places as well.
Yeah.
Because we have talked about you like getting back to people, when they ask you for something or when you think you want something or need something for yourself to meet your own needs, and being able to talk to them and say things. Well, and that is what you did with your mother-in-law. She said, I want him to spend the night, and you said, no, I need him because it's Mother's Day and this is how I feel about it. And I think that's great.
Yeah.
So
I guess I just don't know how to like do that. Maybe that's what it is, or maybe I do know and I just, something inside me just doesn't. I don't know what it is.
Well, it sounds like you do know.
You're right. With her, I am like, but with her, it also took to the point because I've known my husband we've been married for, it'll be 5 years, and I met him when we've known each other for probably 11 or 12 years, so it took a long time for me to get to that point with her. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it took having my feelings hurt to and I probably hurt her feelings too at some point, I'm sure.
But now you have a relationship.
And it just took the time, but otherwise, yeah. So I guess with other people, I'm just not.
So are you worried that she's going to be mad at you?
My mother-in-law? I don't worry if she's mad at me because I know that she's so much like me. And maybe that's the other part of it because we're both a lot alike sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, at the end of the day, I know that if you piss her off, it doesn't matter. She's not going anywhere. And that's the same thing with me. My husband could piss me off and I'm not leaving. Excuse my language. But
No.
I'm just like, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing with her because she cares so much. She's like me, I care a ton. And so does she. And so
she's steady. She's going to be there no matter what.
Yeah, it's like, who cares if she gets mad or I get mad? Like, we're mad.
It'll go away.
It's life. Yeah. But like with other people, it's just.
That's not always the case.
I'm like, I don't know. If I make them really mad, they could take off or respond really poorly, or they could, I don't know. I just don't want to. I guess with other people, the confrontation is not as easy as it is with her.
Well, it's kind of scary when you don't know the outcome.
Very.
Yeah, I mean, if you know your mother-in-law well enough to know what the outcome is, she's not gonna yell and scream at you. She's just gonna be mad at you for a little while and then be done with it.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case at work or with your friends. You can lose a friend, or so I can see why that would be scarier, to speak up for yourself. Excuse me. So back to, do you not look for? I mean, is time with just you and your husband and your son alone? Is Is that something that's not a problem for you? I guess I kind of got the impression it was, but I could be wrong.
No,
so.
I mean, it depends. It can be sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's not like a huge issue, but it can be, yeah. But then that's like, it just depends on who or what the circumstances, because like I said, like with my mother-in-law, I can be pretty direct and just be like, hey, this is, and I'm sure, you know, we still will do things to make her Mother's Day special, and I want her to see her son, and, you know.
Right.
But, like with her, I can be direct and set a boundary and be like, no, we're just going to spend time, you know, together for a little bit. But sometimes it can be an issue. I guess it depends on, I don't know what I'm trying to say, who or what the situation looks like, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So tell me then, where are you at this week? I mean, what are you doing that's you sound like you're doing pretty well.
I am, but I don't know. I guess like I think about the bridal shower, I'm excited, and like for me, like we talked about the baby shower, the couple's bridal shower, I'm not preparing that or hosting it, and so that's almost like it's another thing to do, but it will be fun because I get to go. That will be just me and my husband with friends, and all I have to do is show up and bring. Called Stock the Bar Party, so all I have to do is show up with
I think you told me about that.
An item or a drink for them and hang out for a little bit, and then so that won't be stressful. But like I guess like when my husband gets busy too, I told you about all of his work and things, and like he's gonna do the swing set on Saturday. So on Saturday he'll probably go to swimming lessons with us, and if I don't go with him while he does the swing set thing.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Then on Saturday, I guess I won't probably see him until nighttime when we get ready to go on our date, type of thing. So I mean, not that that's a huge deal, but but then for my son, it's like he won't have a whole lot of time with my son that day either because our son, I should say, sorry. He because you know he'll be at swimming lessons and then he'll go do something else and then he'll be off with me.
But you'll have all day Sunday to hang out together for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And you're planning something with his mom too.
Probably.
And will you see your mom, or was that last weekend?
So my mom doesn't live here, but when she came in for the baby shower, that was a part of the reason. Like with going to the movies, I was like wanting to do that. And so I won't see my mom this weekend, but I will see her probably during the week next week.
So how about we talked about work. Like, are you finding that you're spending more time? Like, have you used that technique we talked about where you are going back, and even if you don't respond right away, you've gone back and emailed? Have you had any success with that, or is that just something you haven't kind of put into place yet?
I haven't really put it into place, like revisiting something. I haven't.
Okay. I just wondered if you touched on that at all.
Haven't gotten there.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
Like I should, though.
No. So it sounds like, you know, you're a little bit foggy, and you've had some, but you've had some successes this week too. You know, you've started back up on your list, and you don't seem like a set of stressed, although you tell me that you've still got some stuff going on.
Yeah.
I wonder, is there anything else you need to talk about before we?
I don't think so. I think when I say stress, it's like I think about so many things all the time, which I told you that before. God, 1,000 things running through my mind, but I don't know, that could be anybody really. So, no, I'm grateful for like how things turned out and that I do have family, and I don't really, I think we talked about a lot of it, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to think about what you want to talk about next week.
Okay.
You know, for when you come in, like spend some time this weekend. And I want you to think about, there's something I want you to try.
Okay.
When you get to feeling like you need to do something so that somebody else doesn't get upset with you.
Yeah.
I want you to take a second and think about that and what that feels like and where that feeling comes from and what you're saying to yourself when that happens. We kind of all do this self-talk, you know, oh, I'm going to look stupid, or my hair's a mess, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I have my teeth, there must be chocolate in my teeth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want you to think about that. So next time that you run into this, where you're feeling guilty, or somebody wants you to do something you don't really want to do it, but you feel like you need to.
Yeah.
I want you to think to yourself, and you don't have to write it down. If you want to, you can.
Okay.
But I want you to think to yourself, what am I saying to myself? You know, they're gonna hate me, or I'll look stupid if I don't go. I won't be their friend. You know, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then bring that back to me if you can remember.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Thank you. Thanks for
I
that suggestion too.
sure.
It'll be helpful.
So I think we'll just do this again next week.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.